Well, my name is Thomas Vick. I am an attorney in Greenwood, Indiana, which is on the south side of Indianapolis, and I am the owner of my own law firm. I'm a solo practitioner. The name of my law firm is Vick Law PC. We focus on estate planning, elder law, and estate administration. And kind of the history of my firm is I started it right out of law school. I graduated in 2014, and I opened my own law practice right after that. And I've been in the same building here in Greenwood since 2015. And I am joined by my friend Seth Wilson today. We're going to begin this podcast, and Seth Wilson and I have really been friends since the start of my law practice, and even going back to when I was in law school in 2012, 2013. And I'll stop right here and let him introduce himself to you.
Well, thanks, Thomas. As you mentioned, my name's Seth Wilson. I practice with a law firm of Adler Attorneys up in Noblesville, Indiana. And as Thomas said, we kind of met years ago when Thomas was coming back to the Indianapolis area and figuring out what law practice was going to look like for him. And we've continued that relationship on a weekly basis ever since. And, we got talking about, hey, may it be a good idea for us to start sharing some of the questions and answers that we share with each other about how to navigate the law practice. And we both have an interest in the estate planning and elder law area and taking care of clients who are having questions about those kind of needs. Along with, in my practice, I deal with a lot of business work as well. And those two practice areas, the estate planning and business and succession planning, tend to work very well together. And so that's been an area of law that I've developed over the years in my practice up here in Noblesville, and then rely heavily on Thomas just to brainstorm cases when we have questions, and also for his knowledge base in the elder law and estate plan side of things as well. So we've had a lot of fun kind of working through that. And we thought, if we're doing this, there may be some other folks who are interested in hearing about that as well, from both the law practice management side, as well as from clients who are looking for some general overviews of some of the topics and questions that we receive that may be helpful for others to kind of understand how the law works as it applies to their situation. Always keep in mind that as we talk about these things, these are general topics of conversation. It's not specific to your legal scenario and cannot be considered specific legal advice. Every scenario we run into, I think you would agree, Thomas, is very fact specific, and the way the law applies to that scenario is going to be different each time. So really, we want to go ahead.
And what I would say to that, Seth, is even when we're kind of talking to each other about certain cases and kind of going back and forth with it in our own private discussions, my experience has been maybe your feedback on a case isn't the same as what I'm thinking about the case, because I know different facts, and same for you too. They're just, every case is different, and so certainly what we're doing here is not going to be legal advice, but I do think that people probably will find it interesting to sort of be a fly on the wall to our conversations over the last, I don't know, 6 years or so, 5-6 years. We have always met like at 11 o'clock or 11:30 on a Thursday morning, and had a Skype. Now we're doing Zoom, and we just kind of go through what we're dealing with that week, what cases we have coming up, what questions we are thinking about and kind of need some feedback on. And a lot of times cases can kind of bring out worldview viewpoints and how to apply the worldview that we have to our cases, and how to advise clients, not just in legality, but also in spirituality as well. And so we both come from a faith background, and we want to kind of share that as well with doing this podcast. Um, what do you think, Seth? What are some of the topics that you think we'll address from time to time here?
Well, it really centers on our practice and the kind of questions that we get on a routine basis based on our experience, right? So I think a lot of it will be centered around sort of the elder law side of things, the estate planning side of things, probably some succession ideas. Again, kind of to tie into what you were just saying in terms of really a philosophy of life, right? Is what does that stewardship look like? What are some of the key ideas and principles that folks are concerned about and thinking about as they make these decisions as to what happens to the assets they've accumulated over their lifetime? How are they best supporting that next generation? How are they leaving a legacy? Those kind of questions. And then I think even just talking about some of the fundamentals, if you will, of what are the documents and what do they mean, right? So what are the elements of a good estate plan? What are some of the things that you should have in, even up to what are some of the more complex ideas and concepts and principles that are out there, to understand what options are available, or maybe just to cause someone to think, hey, maybe I should check this and see if that applies to my situation and get some more information. Again, with kind of an idea of, hey, the citizens should know their law and what's available to them to be a good steward of the resources that they've been provided.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to have a wide-ranging number of topics. We're going to go into law and maybe some educational material for those that watch or listen to the podcast. Um, Talk about some of the technology tools that we have. We talk about technology a lot in our conversations. Use some of the same, a lot of the same programs, mainly because I take your advice on those things. uh, how we use the law practice management system of Clio, and how that actually can help out not only the attorney but also the clients in getting legal problems solved. Um, it's kind of crazy how much technology has changed, even from the time that I started uh, in 2014. Because in 2014, I think maybe only Marion County here in the Indianapolis area was doing e-filing, and now all of the state of Indiana is doing e-filing now. So a lot of changes have happened, and so we try to keep up with those changes as well. So lots to look forward to with the podcast.
Yeah, I agree. And again, we hope it's helpful to those and interesting to those who are interested in these areas of law. And, part of my background is in the law firm management space. I really enjoy that piece of the puzzle. And again, not just to play with the newest and shiniest object, but really to say what's most effective for us as lawyers to deliver the right content for our clients and help them accomplish their goals. And so we want to talk about that. Maybe that's helpful for other lawyers who are trying to figure out, what are the specifics? If you're on a Zoom call, what kind of webcams do you use? Microphones? Do you need headphones? Those kind of things. And then even talking about what does the podcast production look like? What do you have to do to get that going, hosted on a site and available to others? And also marketing. How do you get that out there and do it in an ethical way that is appropriate, but helps you share what value you can bring to the legal community as well? And then hopefully we can, share in high level terms some of the questions that we receive on a weekly basis and kind of queue those up for folks. And if there's others that we may receive by email or something that somebody has a specific question about, they could submit that to us here at the podcast as well. And another, I think, fascinating area for me, kind of talking about the intersection of law and technology, is how about digital assets and some of the transfer of what that looks like, both from kind of these cryptocurrencies and or just the fact that you may have thousands of photos on an iPhone or an Android device. How do you get access to those? How do you transfer those to the next generation and those kind of things? So I think it'll be pretty wide ranging. I think there's always new developments to talk about. As we've seen, the law and the landscape changes here pretty quickly. And a lot of it, kind of is based on that current political climate that may be in play. And so I think there'll be some relevant discussions as we go through. And then, we're learning as we go as well. We want to be learners alongside of each other and ask good questions and things. So looking forward to just continuing our conversations and taking and building on what we've done over the years and hopefully sharing that with others.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I think having a question of the week is going to be a great idea, and have these wide-ranging topics, digital assets, Bitcoin. Those are huge estate planning issues that really haven't been addressed very much so far and are just beginning to be addressed. And so we'll try to keep up to date on that and just have those discussions for the mutual edification of all.
That's right. Hey, well, I appreciate your time today, Thomas. Where's the best place folks can go to find out a little bit more about you and your practice?
Just go to vicklaw.org, vicklaw.org. That's my website, and your website is?
noblesvilleattorney.com. It's all spelled out, all lowercase, and find all of our information there. Hopefully make it easy to connect with us if you have any questions for us. So looking forward to this, Thomas, and we'll see you next week.
All righty.